Second. Okay, again, thank you, Mr. David. Mr. David or just David?
David.
Okay, thank you for being here today. Could you please tell me, this is mostly going to be a technical article. Uh, you might not notice, but I'm also an engineering student, and my job is basically to explain how everything works, how the processes and the system work. So mostly it's going to be centered about your creative process, your development process, and a little bit of information about you. Is that okay?
No problem. What is it? Is this for something personal, or is it for your school, or?
No, I work part-time in a magazine.
Oh, right, okay.
I am I'm trying to get into motorsport as an engineer, and I've got this job basically to meet more people and get into the industry.
Hmm. Good idea.
Thank you. So could you please tell me before to begin with, could you tell me a little bit about your about you, a little bit about your history? How did you start as an artist?
Um, well, I can go quite far back, but I'll give you the short steps. So, when I left school, I went to university to study architecture,
Hmm.
and because I was always interested in sort of creating things. And then I quickly realized this is not the industry for me, and I left. And I sort of worked in like graphic design, I suppose, and branding for a little bit, and then worked my way through that, and then was in advertising and things like that and then publishing. And so basically I was never kind of satisfied. I was always kind of like looking for the next thing, or seeing new ideas and seeing new ways to communicate and go, oh, let me try that. So I'm very confident in terms of my ability to go, I'm going to learn this whole new thing and I'm going to go and do it. I don't care how long it takes or how low I have to start. I'm interested in it. So having a lot of motivation is good for progression. Eventually, I kind of was tired of my work and I felt I wasn't really being rewarded by it creatively or like critically. And started looking at sort of art as a sort of an outlet or something to do, and slowly sort of it grew and grew and grew and to now. So that was like I really sort of started like 2008 2009 was when I was sort of looking at it. And it's not like you flick a switch. It's like a very very slow long process. So yeah, if I'm talking too fast, slow me down as well.
No, don't worry about it. Uh, it's okay. That's really interesting. I didn't know you took such a long road in order to become an artist. I know that you've done from everything from helmets, car, boats, and motorcycle liveries, bicycle kits, football jerseys, and even coffins a couple of times.
Yeah.
Is there a lot of differences when you're working in such different fields?
um no, it doesn't matter what the thing is. All those things you mentioned are like they're passions for me. They're like I love cycling, I love BMX, I love road racing, I love motorcycles. Family is like a car background, so I was always into cars, car culture, but not like motorcycles and bikes is my thing, my nerd thing. Cars I'm into, but I'm not that like people might think I'm into cars, but when I meet car people, I go, okay, this is too. I'm not that into it. I'm like to a degree. Um, so all that stuff became because I like to be an artist, but also I like the things that surround me, like the mobility thing. So cycles, motorized things, boats, whatever. So it wasn't like once you have an idea or a formula to do something, it doesn't matter what the thing is, really. And from my perspective, because I'm not a car designer or a graphic or a livery designer or anything like that, I get to do things on my own terms. So I have a friend who does design for cars, and it's the difference between art and graphic design. It's like art is like you buy a piece of work by somebody. Graphic design is you pay somebody to create the work for you.
Mm-hmm.
So traditionally in motorsport, you'd have like a team and a sponsor, and the sponsor kind of sorts out the livery to a certain degree because they've got like a brand identity and they want to reflect that brand identity. So if it's like Duracell batteries, we want to look like that. We've got here's the brand manual. You follow how this works. You put that in the car, and there you go. Like that's not how I'm not, that's not my job. My job is paintings and art and expression. So if somebody comes to me, they know what they're going to get because it's going to be what I want to do. So it's like, and that's fair because they're not going to come to me and say, "Can you do something like, like a child's drawing about whatever?" Because they know that's not my style, so they're going to want my style to go on it. And that's how I sort of my big first thing was with Hoonigan and Ken Block, because they saw a lot of my stuff on bicycles, and then they saw a story about an interview with me that I was talking about cars. And oh, hang on, he's into cars, so let's talk to me about maybe doing something together. And that's how that process come about. But if you are a car designer, a graphics livery person, it's a different path to take because you're just you're recruited to do the job.
Okay, that's very interesting. I always thought that you were into cars since I've recorded here. I have over 20 liveries you've done, including well, especially for Hoonigan. But for example, I saw that nearly over 10 years ago. The first livery that I saw that you did was for a British Formula racing car.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Could you tell me a little bit about it?
So that was the open wheel car.
Yes, yes,
Right.
black and white.
Yeah. So that all came about because I had this pattern that was on like maybe a helmet, and then I had this idea to have a team. Like not like a low team, not like national championships. Because I was racing dirt track oval racing, and I have some good partners like Alpine Stars and Bell Helmets and these people. So I said, I thought, I'll sponsor some athletes who I think I really like their style and their attitude, young people, and who may not have the good gear, but I can get them the gear. And if I do it in my style and create it, then it's like I've got like a whole sort of squad of athletes and riders that are just like riding in my style. I can get some content from it. So I had like cycling, had dirt track, and then the guy who was in the open wheel, that was in Australia, and he was just like a guy who goes, "Oh, I like your style or your work." And I said, "Oh, can we do something?" I said, "Look, I tell you what we'll do is I'll give you the thing to wrap your car in, and if you cover the cost of it, that's the deal. It's like it's no like I'm not gonna pay them, they're not gonna pay me. It's like one of those sort of like mutual understandings." So that's like the way I so normally the way that a team does something, you have like a PR guy and the photographers, and you have this sort of like usual stuff. But so what I was doing was treating everything differently. So I would get like these great black and white pencil illustrators to record all the athletes and draw them and create a different way of looking at it, because the whole point of when I was doing helmets was like, I don't like all this sort of F1 with the way it looks. I want it to look. I want it really simple and like really like graphic and plain almost. So, and that was the point of that. So, but I'm coming back this year. Next year, I'm starting it again. I'm going to do a new team thing with the style. Because I think now I could make it another level up and have different athletes and things like that. So,
Congratulations. It's yeah, I knew a little bit about that, and it's a really interesting project. I don't think that I've ever heard any of other artists try something like that. So congratulations and wow.
thank you.
Could you you've already told me that you as the met well Ken Block saw you through your bikes and through an interviews. Could you tell me a little bit about the process of designing his liveries, for example, but most famously the Unicorn, the Hunu truck, or even the World Rallycross liveries for the Ford Focus?
Um, so that sort of project is interesting because you've got somebody who has a certain vision of what they want to do, me, and then Ken has a very clear vision of what he wants to do. So when we first talked about it, there wasn't much of a brief, right? It was like, just off you go, just do it. And I sort of set forward a path of like, I know what you've done before, and what your next thing should be like another path direction again in terms of what that style would be. And so I created this really big presentation of what the livery should look like on the RSRX, on the Focus, and you know, the car, the suits, the merchandise, the truck, you know, the whole sort of style of the project. And he didn't like it. So I was like, oh, okay. Normally, as I said, they kind of, what you do is accepted most of the time, because it's like what you know, they're happy to take what you get. So then I had to go back and then do a lot more. And Ken is very much like, he doesn't really give much feedback, and you kind of you have to sort of keep going and showing and different like paths. So it, like, you get lots of options, and then eventually he saw something that he liked, which was where it is now for the 3D effect. But it didn't have the 3D effect then; it was just the pattern, and it just needed something different, or another feeling to it, and that's when I did the 3D effect with the glasses. And I think then it became that sort of, like, my style was very fun and playful and like idea driven. And then for Ken, because he likes things to be very hard, what he called be hard looking, so quite aggressive. So a lot of the times it's very hard edges, very sort of graphic, not much softness or fades or certain colors. And you have monsters, so you've got to consider what they are, because they're not going to have red or yellow because of Red Bull. So you're playing then with like a very small field of what's possible. But that's the fun of it, that you can try to achieve the new style, the new look, but within a relatively tight thing. And originally it was like you couldn't have purple and pink. And then, you know, 4 years later, 2 artists later, they had a purple and pink car. I was like, oh, when you change the rules. So interestingly, the very first project was rejected, didn't like it, but then that's what's become Leah Block's helmet now. So I did her helmet for this season. I don't know if you know Leah's racing, but I did her helmet for this season, and that is based on the very first project I did with Ken that was rejected. So
Okay.
kind of a nice story.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I thought that it was the Leopold's helmet was a completely new idea based mostly on your most recent work.
Leah's no, that the original this like so basically if you saw the original, so basically I often I create like a base point that like the top of an umbrella that comes
Okay.
out of everything. So I created this pattern, this huge pattern of it's basically like a rally course. So
Mm.
you're just going along for like thousands of miles. Basically, if you imagine it, it's like just like a tiny road, one line, right, going all the way around. And that line creates this road, and it gets tighter and tighter and bunches up. And then the line writes Hoonigan and 43 and 8K, and but it's all within this texture of all these dense lines, like contour maps. Um, yeah, and then so when I was showing Leah things, so again, it's like trying to get out of her what she's because helmets are very personal. You want to know what the style is that they're getting, so you're trying to balance between what I want to do and what they want it to be. And there's a few different options, and then I put this one forward, and it was like, oh, I quite like this one. I was like, okay, but she wanted some on the helmet as well as some of the original graphics for the car is included as well. What else is it? Yeah, and then like just I did her like monogram, and I did like a quite cool. I'm not sure if it's come out yet, but like a 57 graphic, but inside the 57 says 43. It's just the
Mm.
way I kind of created it. Yeah, so yeah, that was the return to this beginning of the project. So after the I did the Rallycross project, to me that was what I was hired to do, and that was it done. It was like come and do that thing. But what happened was Gymkhana 10 with the 5 cars, the 5 different Ford, got the pickup truck, the Hoonigan, was happening, and there's a timing problem where if they did another artist, they do another artist. It was just some weird conflict, something like that. So they said, "Oh, can you do the Gymkhana 10 cars?" And they wanted to build it off what we did for the rally team. And then there was another gap. So actually, can you also do the cars in between this release? Because they didn't want to do another artist and then my work, sort of thing. So that's the Ford Escort Cosworth that got burnt down. That was that year.
Okay.
And they did some rallying with it as well. There's a Fiesta of it. And they did a rally. There was like some American rallycross with it. Yeah, and then after that was Kleinkana. So we did a tweak of that for the pickup truck, and then they did other things with their artists then, what I found was like maybe a lot of people are quite hard to work with. I'm quite good to work with, so they'd often come back and ask me for other things. Like I did Leah's Hoonicorn, like a refresh on it. I can't remember. It's been quite a few things, and some things that you might see that you didn't realize I did. Like a lot of there was stuff on the e-tron, the suit he was wearing. I did, but it's like I don't really sort of thing I can publicize or no.
So you did the Hornitron racing suit?
So say again.
Did you do the Hornitron racing suit?
I did. There's something in one of the videos I did I can't remember, maybe it was a suit, or maybe it was the Vegas. He did like a Vegas film, and there's a few things that I was like, oh yeah, I did that. But
Okay.
it wasn't like so when you do a package of things, there might be a sticker in it,
Okay.
and then they let's take that sticker and let's do like a something with it, sort of thing.
Okay.
I did a hood and it had this pattern on it, and then it became a steering wheel, and then it became something else, and then they asked me, they said, "Can we use it on this thing?" Yeah, no problem.
Okay. That's really interesting. I thought that it was usually like other racing series when it's like, oh, we just did one, two, three, and we license those designs. And if we want to do something different, we license it. And but it needs to be something different. I didn't know that you had such a deep involvement in the project. Well, in the various projects.
The licensing thing, it depends. Like the way I look at licensing is, if somebody's going to make money from your work, then you want to make money from it.
Mhm.
But if people are using your work and it's not really making you money, then you kind of, I don't really care if you use it.
Okay.
I can say, oh yeah, check that out. So on my Land Rover, I have the steering wheel that says Hoonigan on it. That's limited edition, 300 or 200 or something. And oh yeah, give me a steering wheel. I'll be happy with that. Just to have that on my car, you know. Um, but because it wasn't a normal team, HRD. You know, some timings change and do a lot of filming, so it's not that sort of same structure like an F1 team or a rally team where they just go, well, they know January starts, budgets are in, they need to sort of assign it and things like that. But yeah,
Okay. And could you talk to me a little bit about your creative process, like your a day in the office, kind of like, for example,
um,
I know that you're an artist, and a lot of my artist friends they tell me that each work of art takes a different process. Like sometimes I get an idea, sometimes I just start working, and from another work it begins. But could you give me a little bit of an example of how you create all the either it's your artworks or liveries?
have you seen? Do you watch Marvel stuff?
A little bit, yeah.
Have you seen the one with the timelines all change?
Yes.
So it's like that. It's like um, there's no like process of like you do this thing and then you get the thing. It's like time exists in your head in all these different ways. So there's an idea I had 2 years ago that I'm working on, still in my head. And there's an idea that I had yesterday that I'm doing right now.
Oh yeah, I saw your personal movement.
So you're kind of like everything's happening at once, but at different stages. Um, so um, and it's frustrating because sometimes you're working on projects and like there's a project I'm doing at the minute and I'm sort of prepping it and it's for like Paris, like for a fashion show in January, and I'm thinking about this thing. I'm just getting it like I know I'm doing, but I'm trying to source the right materials for it. But in the meantime, I'm doing a commission for a helmet for somebody, and I know I need to get that done because they need it. So I'm doing that, and then I'm thinking about I've got like a piece of paper on the wall where I write down ideas of like just ideas for things, and I just write that down. And yeah, so generally each day it depends on what the the need is because the nature of the work is very time heavy and process driven. So it's not like you're going into a traditional painter studio and flicking paint on the canvas and then looking at it for half an hour and having a cigarette and then having an espresso and then flick some more paint, which is kind of like what people think, imagine people, artists do. Whereas for me, it's like, okay, I'm trying to create this piece. What do I need to do first? Have I got the right materials? Is the room hot enough? Because like it's cold here at the minute. I got to warm up the room, warm up the temperature. So working on that, and then I've got to do some stuff like this, or talking, or like emails, or calls, or I'm gonna go pick up my kids. I've got to do, the brakes on my van. So it's like it's not like I dream. It's like that simple of like it's 1955, and I'm smoking a cigarette, and I'm flicking paint on the canvas. But unfortunately, everything is so complicated and entangled that a day is never the same, and you get different ways to be rewarded by it. So the most rewarding part is the idea. When you think of something you want to do, it's like, fuck, that's great. I really want to do that idea. And that's the idea. So like the bonnets, the hood paintings. And that was like, I had thought of that idea. I was just sitting down. I was like, oh, that'd be a good idea. Like NASCAR, but like they're not really NASCAR. That's what the idea was. And you get really excited about it, and you write it down, and you think about it, and then that's that. Then you start to create it, and then the difference between the idea, and then the creation is such a long point because you've already had the inspiration. Now you're going to make it, and it takes 10 seconds to think of something, but it takes a week to make it. So you've got to be disciplined to carry that out. Like I said, there's something in the back of my studio that's been covered in protection that was being made for me like 2 years ago, and it's like soon you're going to be the new piece. Soon. And I've got a bike here, my own bike, which is the thing that gets pushed every time. Like I really want to fix it or finish it, and it always gets pushed back. It's like, but yes, it's to conclude. Every day is different depending on what's needed and who needs it first, and often it's financial. So the company who I work with for this thing for Paris is now the sort of priority. But luckily, it's a great project, and it's exactly what I would something I would do anyway without being sort of commissioned for it. So that's very fortunate.
Okay, that's really cool. Wow. And how does it feel to have your work being shared worldwide, not only by yourself, but for example, Oliver Solver's car that's being constantly shared by Skoda or Liablock's helmet or even all the Hoonigan stuff?
How does it feel?
Yeah.
I don't feel anything. I mean, I get a kick when I see it. I guess because this comes down to the principle of why I do what I do. Because if you only do something for yourself and something that only you really care about, how could it go wrong? Because if the audience is you and you're happy with it, then you've won. But if your audience is 10 people or a social media following or whatever, and they're your audience and you're trying to please them, they'll never be happy, and you'll never be happy, and you always be caring about something else. So it's easier to do something that makes you happy most, and then if people like it, great. If people don't like it, it doesn't matter because it's for you, and that's what matters most.
Yeah.
Once you've got that principle, yeah, you can do whatever you want because you can't fail. Because if just doing paper art makes you happy, then great, and you're not requiring the applause of somebody or gratitude to somebody else to do it. That said, you get kind of used to seeing things a little bit, so it was always nice. I did a post a while back, just recapping on the Oliver project. So Oliver was a big Ken fan. He was in Gymkhana 10, and he's like young and he's like trying to understand his place in the motorsports world. He's like Leah. He's very hungry and like exciting and has a great attitude. And when somebody's like that, it's really easy to work with them because what I was saying to him is like I said, you can do anything right now, so let's do something that's most unusual or challenging because when you're with Hyundai, you're going to be that. See you later. We will be working together. I'm afraid. I might maybe do your helmet, but they have a graphic designer to do their cars, and it's got to look a certain way. So it would be really remarkable if we do anything further. So when I assembled this image, I thought, oh, fucking hell, this car looks great. I've seen it do the jumps. I was like, yeah, that's really. I surprised myself by saying, oh, this still looks really fresh and like really like different. And but I don't know what you think, right? I don't know. Again, it's like only what I did what I would like to do, but I have no idea because I don't read comments, I don't read things like that because I learned early on like it can hurt you, and it's like you can have 10 good comments and then one comment that goes, "Oh, that's shit," and you just go, "Well, hang on a minute, we only had like a week, right?" So the reason why that's there is because we had that and because the sponsor wanted that, so we had to take that off. So there's loads of like reasons why something is something. So I don't know. I have no idea if that was a success for a project or not. I guess it was first because we did the car together the year before last, or like just the end of the season. We just created some stuff, and then we continued it. We did the helmet, suit, and I said to him, "Look, this is a really great opportunity because Skoda don't care, and Monster just has a hood, so we can do anything." And I said to him, "I said, look, enjoy this moment because it's not going to happen again, unfortunately, unless he's got his own team like Ken." Excuse me. So yeah, when I see it, I get like I'm proud. I'm proud when I see it, and I like when I see Leah. I just like see something like, oh fucking hell, there's a helmet. That's really cool. I really like the way it's photographed. And but yeah, I mean, if I don't do any more of that, you know, it doesn't matter. It's not my job, but it's great that I get to do it.
Okay. Hey, would it be okay if I start another meeting? I don't have Zoom
Yeah,
Plus
yeah, yeah.
and it's okay. I'll be right back. I'll send you the link just so that we can finish up. I know that you're extremely busy and
You know, I'm going to
thank
hear
you.
my tea. Just do another one.
Okay, thank you. Really sorry, it's just that I don't have
Don't worry about
the Zoom Plus and now there's time limits.
that. You know this one?
Uh, I hadn't seen that before.
This before? All right.
What? No, I hadn't seen it before. That's really cool.
So this is the first ever car. This is Nelson Piquet Jr.
Wow.
And it's a NASCAR truck from 20. You find it. It's 2011 maybe.
Okay.
And so I had a relationship with Alpine Stars. I still have it. And they had because they were a sponsor. He said, "Oh, we've got a space for you if you want to do a car." And they went, "Yeah, great. Let's do a car, Alpine Stars car." And they said, "Oh, do I want to do it?" I was like, "Yeah, okay." This is like I was very my third year maybe in arts. It was like quite a big deal. And said, okay, great. We need it by tomorrow, which was like 16 hours, and we need something that doesn't offend NASCAR, the team, the driver, the sponsors. And so don't do anything too crazy because it won't get accepted. If we don't get accepted, we can't do a livery. But don't do anything like playing. You know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
so you're like, what can I do? What am I gonna? So yeah, that was the first ever car. So the idea was like the heat, like a heat map, like a predator. So the temperature gauge of like a thermal camera sort of thing.
Wow.
Yeah. So he crashed into the wall. So so what was great, back to the point, was like, do I care when I see it? I When he hit the wall, that's when it was brilliant. So him driving around in like 16 was like, oh, whatever. But he smashed into the wall, and all sparks were coming up, and the car came in, and it was all dented. And they were all like getting the panels and kicking it in. And they've got like the panel in the office in Alpinestars HQ in LA. So still, so it's like it's quite a cool one.
No,
Yeah.
but really, wow, that's a really cool story. Thank you. I'm gonna look exactly for one of those pictures of the pit stop where they're kicking the panels for the article, if that's okay.
I'll find we'll just find the projects. Yeah, keep talking because I don't want to take your time up.
No, 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 you're not taking my time.
Right, on your
Like
Zoom minutes.
I'm first mostly worried that I'm taking up your time.
All right,
Um,
all good.
no, and okay. Maybe my last question before we send you off. Well, I send you off. Um, do you feel that how do you feel that you've been able to achieve a lot in based on uh, inspiring people? Most, for example, my friends and my family, we usually discuss that compared to your liveries, all Formula One liveries and jackets are boring. But when we see your work, it's now like not a milestone, but you've set the bar so high now that and you're started inspiring so many people, artists, me and an
Oh,
engineer, for example.
again, it's very kind of you to say that, but it's like you live. I live in a bubble, tiny bubble. It's me. I don't see anybody that has any influence. But the reason why how I got hit, what I do, is because I wanted a crash helmet, right? And I wanted it like in the 80s, all the 500cc riders had these really simple helmets, really iconic. And if you saw a grid or walking through the paddock, you'd go, Freddie Spencer, Randy Mamola, Kevin Schwantz, Wayne Rainey, and then an F1, Nelson Piquet, Nigel Mansell. And I was like, wow, that's such the branding of the helmet and the identity is like so cool. And what happened was, as we progressed, technology changes and graphic design changes, and like the helmet from being something that you do by hand became like a digital thing people do on a computer, and they would add more and more things. Then the helmet became complicated and loads of detail and like extravagant. And then they weren't iconic, so you couldn't see who's which. I don't even know who's who here. And now, so I worked as a MotoGP rider last year, did a couple of helmets. And now, because of energy drink, you don't have a helmet anymore. You just have this bit. I was like, I can't really do anything here. I can't really create anything fun. So, I've got my train of thought. So the reason why I got into this whole thing is because I wanted my own helmet that looked like this old style, but nobody was doing it. It was all complicated and too much and airbrush and things like that. And I created my first one. I thought, oh, that's kind of shit. And then I did another one that was still shit. 3 layers, like, okay. And by the 5th one, I did the brain, like a brain helmet. I thought,
Yeah.
oh, that's really interesting. It was really fun, and like people liked it, and like, oh right. And then I realized, oh yeah, because you don't have to be complicated. It could be just an idea, and hopefully people will appreciate it. And that's why you have people that might like my work, and then people that just don't like it or don't get it or just too simple. And I don't like the F1 style because it's graphic design. It's like it doesn't mean anything. It's got no idea. It's got nothing challenging. And the whole point of it was to do the opposite of that. And slowly, because not everybody wants what I like. So that's why I haven't done an F1 car. I have spoken about it, and I've had ideas, and I don't know if my ideas weren't approved and they don't like it, or so you see me in like these little places that if you see my work, it's because of a good client, not because of my work. So
Okay.
Oliver and Ken and Leah, Fabio, all these people, if you see anything good, it's because of them, not because of the artist.
Hmm.
I'll create the thing. No, you let me do it. I'll do it. But unless somebody who trusts you and appreciates the work, you never see it. So that's why these people have got connection, because they appreciate the style and of the work, and will make it happen. Yeah.
Okay.
Does that
And
make sense?
for example, Bell helmets, now that you've just launched your new collection, you would
Yes.
say that they would be fans of your work?
Yeah, I think that. So there's a line I say, which is like, if I had $1 for every mood board I was on, I could retire, because like, and it's not so much these days because the way social media works and the closed systems is hard. But like when it was blogging and blog and everything could travel so easily. So in cycling, I feel I really had a big impact in cycling, how it looks now, because I influenced the people that did the things. So, uh, and that's how ideas work. Inspiration isn't about, oh, there's the design, let's copy it onto that. The inspiration is, oh, that's interesting. And then off they go, and then it stays in their mind, and then it'll morph into something else, and it's like another idea. And that's how things change. So, the way that, very simply, cycling was very symmetrical, right?
Mhm.
When I would do my own bikes, if I did it asymmetrical, it's easier and quicker because you don't have to match it.
Mhm.
So it's easier to create a crazy camo paint job than to one that had very simple things that matched, because I had to measure it and make sure it worked. And if it was a little bit out, it would spot it. But if I just do anything like that, doesn't match up, it's quick and easy, job done. And then a lot of asymmetrical patterns came in, and like then the rules changed, and then it would just change the whole way of it looking. And early on, I would make something, and because I was like, I had a job and other things to do, I couldn't just do art all day. I would like maybe make a helmet, but only paint half of it, and the other half would be blank. But you would that because you just see it and you just go, "Oh right, that's really good." But the other side might be a bad paint job or something crap, because I understood that if you have the thumbnail working, that's it. because the way we consume information, it's about the thumbnail, and maybe 50 people might see the real thing, but 1,000 people might see the image. So understanding how to present an idea, and if you can do it, if you can present something that's like in one picture, like I got it. So like the brain is really good. So like brain crash limit, I get it. And for something that you need to show two things, or like show three images, or like, oh look, watch how it changes, it's like whatever, you know. Um, so yeah, back to the, I think the point was, here we go. Ken's helmets. I didn't do that one. That was a present for doing the other helmets.
Yeah.
It's nice. This is Troy Lee helmet. Yeah, so being able to do something where I don't have to worry about it being right or wrong, or it's not my job. That's again, this is what it comes down to. Is like it's not my job to be a livery designer, and if I have to stop tomorrow, great, it's fine. It doesn't matter. I do like the sport, but because it's not my business, I carry on as before. So Bell, sorry, back to Bell. So yeah, there's people that maybe like yourself who knows my work now, and then when you're 2-3 years time, you may be in the industry. You go, I know somebody who could do that. That's great. And I think a lot of these projects are like people that knew my work before or knew my reputation, and see if we can work together on something. And again, I'm not like, I think I'm like tiny, like a tiny, tiny, tiny ant. Like I'm not like all the artists I know. They're like huge, and they have Porsche deals and you know all this sort of stuff. And I'm like a little tiny ant that just does my own little thing, and there we go. So I never think it's nice to have recognition by a company like Bell, because I only work with people that I would like to work with. Because if it was like I was approached by like DC Shoes or something once, and before Ken, and they said, "Oh, can we do something else?" Like, I don't wear your shoes, so I can't really do anything with you. You know what I mean? I'm not
Yeah,
gonna.
yeah, yeah.
If it was Vans, I wear Vans. Yeah, let's do something. But like DC is like, well, I don't really. It's not really me, so I can't really start. It's not going to work out. So yeah, Bell. You know, I had it as a kid. I don't know if you saw the film that was made. It's kind of cool.
Which film? I'm sorry, I couldn't hear.
There's a film in the studio that they made. It's very good. It's on YouTube. I'll send you a link.
Oh, thank you.
And there's a few films. There's a Type 7 film. There's a Barber clothing film. And there's one film, but it usually comes down to one thing, and it's like the battle I have to survive, because it's a very hard job, mentally, you know. And I say the Barber film for sure. It's like every day I quit this job, and every day I come back for more, because I can't stop. I can't stop ideas. And if I was a billionaire, I'd be doing it, and if I was broke, I'd be doing it. It's the same thing, you know. It's not it's not a choice. It's an affliction. Ideas, you know. Yeah. Any other questions?
Well, no, no, thank you very much. But before you leave, about the last question, I wanted to show you something. I used to race on my university's Formula student team. I used to be the driver, but when they told us that they were gonna cut the program, I thought, hey, I have time. I'm gonna do something crazy, and I made a helmet inspired by you.
Oh, nice.
I know it's not as good as yours. For example, I don't know if you can see
Hey,
it, but it's just stickers.
it's tape, yeah?
I bought a couple
Ah, yeah.
of
Sweet.
sticker paper
Yeah,
and I just pasted it all over the helmet.
right. Is it an Audi project or did you just put the Audi logo on it? Because you
No,
liked it.
I'm actually an Audi fan, from Group B and Endurance.
Yeah.
It was, I would say, 50, well, 33 percent inspired by you, inspired by Ken Block and by Andre Lotterer. That's why it has these diagonal lines on the front.
Yes. I've got this. I'm using this. I've got this. I've had that pattern like that. I got a folder of like patterns of like just like chuck them in. And it's on a I'm using it as a sort of how to explain. Like there's like a fade of green to blue, and there's like I use that pattern and I do another fade of like a different color. So you see it, but you don't really see it. It's kind of like kind of magical the way it's like blurry the way it works. So, but that's better than my first helmet. To give you that much, they're all in the bin.
Uh, no, but I wanted to thank you for many years. You've been an inspiration. And even though I'm starting to be an automotive design engineer, um, I started doing a lot of liveries and designs on and a lot of art. Uh, I very much thanks to you, thanks
Oh,
to
right.
the inspiration that you've been bringing me for nearly 10 years.
Hmm. Well, if I can leave you with one piece of advice, and that is just do what you want to do. Um, there's a I wouldn't say do what makes you happy because that's a really difficult thing to do because there's a lot of things in life that stop you from doing certain things you want to do. Um, but having an understanding of doing your work or your art of what you want it to be only, never do it for what you think would be successful because other people will do that thinking for you. And there's only one Sebastian, right? And only you can do you like you can. And that's what people will invest in is what you can do, not because if you can do a style of like somebody else or create something for what you think might be acceptable. And eventually people will come to you. When I started, I don't know why I called Death Spray Custom. What a stupid name, right? What a stupid name. If I knew now, I wouldn't have called it that, right? But like at the time, it was just like a stupid, fun, goofy thing. And now it's like when you're at a party and you said the name wrong of somebody, you can't change it now because it's like it's stuck. I can't change it now, can I? I'm like, I got like Ken Block calling me Lord Death and videos and stuff. So yeah, just do you the best, and then it'll come.
Thank you.
And also, just keep doing it.
Thank you very much. Hey, would it be okay if we like post, even though it's for a screenshot, would it be okay if we post for a picture?
Yeah.
Thank you. Let, I'm gonna take it now.
Am I looking at the camera? I was there. Do it again.
Okay, yeah. Give me 1 second, just so that the little window pops off. Okay. No, but thank you very much for taking time out of your day.
No problem. Any other questions? Let me know. If there's anything I've said that you haven't seen, just message me. And if I don't do it like straight away, I will do it. I just like need a bit of badgering to do it. Which part of Mexico City do you live in?
I live in on the northwest part well, on the western part of Mexico City, Interlomas. It's like the outer area.
Right. Oh yeah, I'm a gringo. I only went to the the bit I go to, right? That bit by
Yeah,
the park.
Have you ever gone to Coyoacán or not yet?
Ah, what's that?
Coyoacán is it's a little like neighborhood in Mexico City, a little bit on the outskirts, but it's famous because it has an art market where I go a lot, and it has a lot of food markets. It's like it used to be a town outside of the city, but it was eventually
Ah,
consumed by the city. So it's there by law, for example, there are a lot of old buildings. So by law, they're not able to demolish or change the front of the buildings.
can you
So
spell
you
it
see,
for me?
yeah, it's Coyoacán.
Yeah,
Uh,
ACAN.
in the chat, I'll write for you.
Right, I've not been there. That sounds brilliant.
Yeah, and if you're ever here in Mexico City, it's a true offer. Let me
Yeah,
know, and I'll take you to the food market. It's you eat really well, and then you get to see a lot of art.
that sounds great. I will definitely take you up on that. Fantastic. All right, thanks, Sebastian. Yeah, like let me know. I'll send you. I'll dig up some of that Nelson PK stuff. Um,
Okay.
it was streamed, and I was trying to find the stream where you see the crash, but it's such a long time ago now. Maybe it's gone, but I'll uh, I'll have a look.
Well, thank you.
I'll send you some photos from my personal um, role, so they're not online, so you can see them. If you want to
Yeah,
use them, you're welcome.
and hopefully next time you do a drop, I'll be able to get one of your pieces. I'm telling you, well, this is a true story. I've been waiting like 2 or 3 years, and everything has been sold out almost instantaneously.
Yeah, it's
Just
usually
gets
down,
too good.
it's usually down to like everything takes time, and there's not much time. We've got kids, and it's like kids take all the time, so it's like, yeah,
Yeah, but good luck again. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure and honor, and um, hopefully we'll be able to meet one day in person.
yeah. I'll definitely see you in Mexico City.
Hey, or maybe I'll get a job in England and I'll meet you there.
Well, there's lots of jobs in England for motorsports people. You know, it's the capital.
Yeah. Thank you
Yeah.
so much.
Hey, take care. Nice one. Thank you very much.
You too. Have a nice day. Good luck to your family and to your children.
Thank you very much. You too. Cheers.
Cheers.